Welcome back to Setting the Screen, everybody, at Jeff Needs Help Project. Tonight is another WandaVision episode. It's episode 7 already, and I named this one Hocus Pocus. For anybody that knows, like anybody that's watched, I think you know why. Anybody that's a fan of Disney, you probably know why. And tonight, once again, I've got two of the best investigators on the planet to help me out. I got Rob Cruz from the Football and Chill podcast. What's up, Rob?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Great. And once again, we've got our Sherlock Holmes of the MC universe. We've got Stephen Gillespie. How are you doing, Stephen?
Man, this is way too nice of a thing to say about me, but I'll take it. Thanks for having me on as always, man. Gentlemen, it's great to be working with you guys again tonight.
Yeah, so we'll get to knee jerks in a second. So everybody knows it's watching or listening. If you're listening, this is we're going to do another watch party. I will let you know when we're going to begin the show. If anybody's not in the Disney party, I will say I'll say I'm starting now. Right now we're on I guess 6 zeros. That's where we're going to be starting this. And so what we did this last week. We're going to watch it. We're going to commentate as we watch along, and when the episode is over, then we'll go through dig into a little bit more of the bigger points of it. But first, so episode 7, it was actually titled, I believe, you know what? I never know the real title.
Breaking Through the Fourth Wall.
Fourth wall. That is correct. So first of all, let's just do some quick knee jerks. This is where we kind of just say our quick gut feeling, after we watch the episodes. I'll start. I kind of knew what was coming. We thought Modern Family last week. That's what we got. We got Modern Family. I thought it was a good way to do this episode with Wanda. I didn't love this episode. It did get better with the second viewing, and I thought that 6 and 7, those two episodes together, kind of served the same purpose. So I guess my knee jerk is I was slightly disappointed, even though because the standards are so high. So Rob, knee jerks, episode 7.
I'm glad. Like I even said it in our group message. I'm glad we got strung along for 7 episodes to finally confirm what we've been saying this entire time. And we're not the only ones. We've known it was, who Agnes was.
Yeah.
It's just good to finally see it, confirmed and to see kind of where they go with that.
Steven, knee jerks.
Yeah, I thought it was a good episode. I think that this week was better than the last week, and I believe I gave it 2 Infinity Stones, 2 or 3. I can't remember, but
you gave it 3 last week.
Yeah, that's right, 3. But this week, I don't know. I felt like it progressed along pretty decent. I thought it was a good story. We had a lot of big moments in this, even though it was kind of a little bit of a filler episode, so to speak. But there was some good content in it.
I have the feeling that after here's my other knee jerk. I have the feeling after we watch this together that we'll like it slightly more. I think once we start bouncing some ideas off each other here and pointing out some things, I think we'll all have different observations. It feels like this is the first week out of the 7 that us 3 were. I won't sound like different pages, but I think we all 3 had different observations that are going to come together. So I'm very optimistic about this watch party here. So
we didn't communicate about this episode as much offline as we did as the other ones either.
Not nearly as much, yeah. So that's it. So once again, if you're listening, we're getting ready to start the episode. We will commentate as it progresses along. If you're watching at home, obviously we're not going to show it because we don't want Disney to come to our house and kick down the door, and we don't want the Off the Ball Network to be sued so early. But we're going to
ever.
No, we don't mind being sued once we deserve it. Come on, man. Like Rob's definitely getting sued.
It's coming.
Rob is going to get sued.
I'm too PC.
So here we go. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna have a little watch party here. Episode 7, WandaVision, and here we go. Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Oops, sorry. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you can see in this intro video that this is going to be a big episode for Monica. Like you could tell right off the get,
Mm-hmm.
focusing around her.
Oh yeah, this show is becoming very heavy, Monica, which
Yeah.
I'm good with actually.
Yeah, absolutely. She did a fantastic job in this episode. And then showing Vision getting torn apart again. And this Joker.
I did not miss him.
Yeah. Heavy Monica in this recap video. It didn't even feel like there was that much of her in the last episode either.
Yeah.
I heard an interesting theory about Hayward today too.
Ready to hear that.
They think so. I listen to a lot of podcasts, to steal their ideas because they're smarter than me. And somebody brought up that they think that the Ralph that Agnes is always referring to is Hayward. That's who Ralph is going to be.
It's an interesting take.
Yeah, I've got some thoughts about Hayward in this one as we come through.
Ready to hear that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
The dope Marvel intro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I never get tired of that. They nailed it with that, right?
Yeah.
And then just as we suspected, straight modern. Vision's not there. That's it.
Yep.
Like immediately, Vision's not there.
And she's narrating everything that's happened.
Yeah. This is pretty good editing, though.
You see all the hexes on the comforter there.
Yeah, right. Cool pickup. Yeah.
This part made me laugh.
Yeah.
So,
Ataris.
So
and
now
what we don't old school, cards.
Yeah, he goes to cards. That's really cool. Which I forget. Like young people are probably like, what's a card? Card game.
Yeah, Billy's head feels weird and really noisy. What's up with that, guys?
Well, he's hearing everybody in town.
Yeah. And what about a quarantine reference in this?
Right. That's about the second one. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Disney, for reminding us.
Yeah.
We're watching this for an escape.
Yeah. This was a weird moment. She pulls back the covers and she's still wearing the Halloween, almost like a
hangover.
Yes, hangover is exactly what I thought.
The kids are fighting. Wanda's coming downstairs looking very mom right now. We're all married. We know what that means. Look at the Kane soda at the top left. Another nod to Garrison Kane from X-Men. That's no coincidence.
Nice. Then here we go. Like she's having trouble hanging on to the.
Did you guys notice the radio transmission going on in the background?
I didn't notice until you said something, but nope. I heard the radio station, the
WNDA.
WNDA. Yeah. And the cereal that they're eating is called Sugar Snaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
A very Thor reference.
Well, and how about that there's a clown on here too?
Yes, I noticed the clown.
Mm-hmm. And Wanda doesn't know what's going on still.
Mm-mm.
I didn't like how she was trying to be so, I don't know, like her personality was just kind of indifferent to me. I didn't like it. Probably intentional.
This is by far the worst intro of all the shows.
Yeah,
mainly just the "We know what you did, Wanda."
The story. There's two things there. The license plate, the number at the top of the license plate is Stan Lee's birthday. It's like 12/22/22 or something.
Cool.
But that intro was, I can't remember the names, but like either the director or producer or something of the show made a show in the 2000s that used that intro. So it was just kind of a nod to him.
Throwback.
It was the Russo brothers.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, yeah, the Russo brothers. How duh.
And then the show was called like Happy Endings or something like that.
Yep.
Well, how about Hayward has already got another command put up, and he's saying we launch today.
Yeah.
What's launch? Is that a reference to Cataract? That's what I'm thinking.
But the look on his face tells me like I'm sticking with it. I don't think he's a bad guy anymore.
I do. So Vision is animated again, and you notice that the camera is panning out again. So different directing styles depending on what's going on. And there's a circus. Remember,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
clown that was on the front of the cereal box.
And
And then on the back of the cereal box, I watched a YouTube video, and they brought it up that there was an elephant on the outside, and then there was a maze in the middle said goal.
Yeah.
So kind of representing where Vision is at right now. The circus, common circus animals, an elephant trying to get to the middle of the hex, where Wanda is at.
Nice.
Yeah. And how about that
who's
agent?
The strong man? Who is that dude?
He was the agent from the earlier episodes. He's one of the sword agents.
But he's a little aggressive. Like he might be more than just like.
I took note of that too. I thought it was really weird how he was like, why? Like he's put there essentially to, keep them away. And we notice as the show progresses that there are more hindrances on Vision and Darcy returning.
And then each of the kids are wearing colors of their traditional comic book characters.
Which is cool. Very important. And one's a tracksuit, like they look the part.
Yeah,
I think that's really good. Good job.
And that man is not your uncle, referencing to Pietro. And did you notice too that on that forecast where it only showed Monday through Friday, and Friday was highlighted on that Wanda intro. The 10th was kind of annotated with a heart.
Yep. Notice she still feels very stressed by having all the answers. She's very
well. She says she has no answers. Actually, like she's trying to keep it together. Everything is meaningless. I feel like this is just drifting on into Mephisto. It feels like it's getting darker for her.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I know that this is intentional, but I did not like Wanda in this episode.
Not your favorite Wanda version, huh?
No. And she knows Agnes is coming through the door.
Yeah, she's given up.
Yeah,
she's completely just given up.
I love this. She one split end away from cutting off her own bangs. It feels like she's about to go full Britney Spears.
Yeah, Catherine Hahn brings it every episode. Like, just amazing.
And what about Tommy right here? Tommy is like, do we have to go?
Yeah. The kids feel like the only real people in the show right now.
Yeah. I promise I won't bite. And she bit a kid once. Kind of.
And the witches were believed to eat kids, way back in when witches were a thing.
But look, once again, this disturbs me so much. Like Wanda is so happy she's had these kids for 24 hours, but she is so happy to get rid of them for a day. It is so bothersome to me.
It is.
Oh, we got some comments. Sorry, guys. Oh, there we go. Ryan Fellman says Darcy broke the chain.
I think those were just kind of false change.
Yeah, it's a circus.
Yeah. Things around the house are changing more.
Yeah, but now, and we know looking back, is this her or something else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she already mentions that, like, she doesn't know what happened in the kitchen earlier.
Right.
And then here, a similar thing. She's like falling apart.
Why is my...
And here we go. We got Monica and Jimmy finally showing them.
This is disappointing, guys. Everything that happens here is disappointing to me.
Yeah. Did you pause this where the phone showed up and actually read that email?
I didn't get a chance to.
I did. I'm not going to read the whole thing. They actually narrate most of it. But, Hayward's trying to bring Vision back online.
Oh, so I have a theory about this. Is this...
He wants a sentient weapon back.
I think I think Hayward is creating the Sentinels, which are going to be the big bad in the X-Men, because we know bringing the X-Men in. I think this is a way to bring, like, we know that the originally it was Trask that did it.
Yeah.
But I think that's just a guess.
I mean, could be. Vibranium would be an important part of
Yep.
stopping the X-Men. So
And just think of the color of them. Like Sentinels are typically like a maroonish, color.
So is this the lady, this lieutenant here? Is she the doctor from the hospital when Monica first woke up? She looks like her, right? Did you catch that?
I didn't.
She looks like that same doctor from the hospital that explained to her what happened with her mom.
I don't. I think. I don't know. I think it's a scroll, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Well, and if you remember too, when Monica was saying that she has a contact, she said he. This isn't even the contact.
I think it's a scroll that we met in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and we finally get to see this vehicle, right? And now we're back at the circus.
This is weird.
Very.
This
So what I don't understand is the last episode we were guessing that because they were so far away from Wanda, her powers were weakened, and so that's why everybody was kind of standing still. But out here, they have a whole thing going on over here.
Yeah, why is that not going on now?
Well, we saw that maybe she just didn't care, and then we saw the hex expand. I mean, if she can expand the hex, theoretically, in my mind, it would make sense that she could control stuff going on inside it.
But she doesn't. She doesn't care at home. And then here we go with Vision.
We find out more. Powers. Yeah, he kind of unearths Darcy's consciousness here, which we kind of figured was going to happen when we predicted when they run into each other.
Not going to waste Darcy.
No. And here comes the strong man.
But they're still not in total control. Because Vision would just grab her and fly away. Like, why wouldn't, like...
Probably just not wanting to rush into something without knowing more. I don't know. We find out more later that Vision, becomes fully aware of, everything that he can do again.
Yeah. But see, my theory is, well, I'll get to it here in a second, in a few more minutes here. It's not quite on my notes yet.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem just like your average, circus member. He seems like he's really trying to keep them from doing something.
Yeah, and I have a theory on that.
We got Wanda back at home.
I don't like how she eats this bowl of cereal, by the way. It drives me nuts. There was never anything in that bowl. It's just weird looking.
Yeah. Didn't that feel like Beetlejuice, that part with the wallpaper rolling up the wall?
A little bit.
And then we see the stork again, and he disappears into a cloud of magic. Is that Doctor Strange? I really think it is.
I think so.
And then Wanda's in this interview again. And how crazy is that part?
It was really cool. That was a good job.
Yeah. Really fitting for the breaking through the fourth wall aspect. And this commercial, they show that little white boy and the black girl. I really think that could be Hayward and Monica, like some sort of an origin thing with them. I want to talk more about Nexus whenever we get through the walkthrough.
That's the whole thing is Nexus. Like this is all about. What's the storyline? The Nexus War or something like that. Like it's what it's going to all be about. Confronting your truth.
Yeah. And then unless your doctor has cleared you to move on with your life, did you catch? I think that's a nod to Doctor Strange.
It's gotta be.
It has to be. Yeah. And it's all about controlling realities in your world and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know the rabbit? Is that from
Senior Scratchy?
Scratchy. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yes. Which is obviously a nod to her son in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
So I did hear a couple different theories on this scene right here in particular.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And he mentioned earlier, like, who's controlling this volume that's inside of Billy?
And he's struggling. I feel bad for Billy.
Yeah. He's more vocal about things, though, in this episode than Tommy. Tommy just seems like he's along for the ride.
I can tell you something that's going to come out of this, though.
Oh, yeah.
As far as outside of the TV show, people aren't going to be comfortable with like the kind of lighthearted take on mental illness. I can just tell you I think that's something that's going to come out of this. Like not our show or whatever, but I just feel that like the whole cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and stuff. I don't know if you can do that in 2021. We'll see.
Yeah. And now we have Monica's getting dressed up to enter this, space rover with Wu, and
yep.
She's just determined that she's going to go in there and fix Wanda. Like that's her mission in life right now, is to save Wanda. It's not anything else. It's to help Wanda out.
But once again, she knows so much more than we do.
Yeah. Well, it's because she's so much more than we are, Jeff.
Yeah, she's about to be.
Yeah.
Here we go. We have Monica getting. What do you guys think of the vehicle? Did it mean anything to you, or is it just like?
I tried to look up like if this was like a vehicle of significance, like the Ghost Rider's motorcycle, or like the the X-Men's invisible plane. I couldn't find anything on this space vehicle.
The only thing that stood out to me was a hexagon in the
right
in front of it.
For sure, yeah.
This feels like everything is too perfect at this moment, like that everything is going to go just right. Oh, and you notice too that it's got 6 wheels.
Yeah.
Mm.
I never picked up on that until just now. It's about to breach the hex. Or at least try, and it's not working now.
Yeah, it starts climbing it. This is cool though. Like it's Monica getting her powers. Like that's what this scene is.
Why do you think that the vehicle is unable to penetrate it? Like Monica specifically said that the measurements should break through.
I really don't know. Like I said, this whole scene, I'm not super like happy with everything that happened here. I expected, like it doesn't make any sense.
Like her and Darcy both were like, yeah, this is everything that we should need to go through.
Exactly.
But Darcy did say in theory or theoretically, right? And now the hex is eating the vehicle, it looks like, and Monica's breaking through just in the nick of time. Terrible landing. And then the hex just spits out this vehicle.
Yeah, and it's half like what 80s van or something.
Yeah, it looks like an Isuzu like work truck almost. And then Monica looks at this and is like, you know what just happened to this truck? I think it would be a really good idea to run right at the hex.
Yeah, Monica's fearless. We do know that.
Yeah. And Jimmy, for the second time, sees her approaching the hex and just yells to not do it. And she does it. And she breaks through.
And here we go. There's a lot of, you can hear Captain Marvel in the background. You can see
hear her mom.
How do you guys feel about this as an origin story?
I love it.
I loved it. I thought it was good. Yeah.
I didn't think it looked too bad.
No, I think it was cool that Marvel put in an origin story in here. And even though it was a short amount of time, it felt important,
Yeah.
And then again, Carol Danvers, she was the last voice she heard before she woke up after being put back together in episode 3. And now she's the last voice that she hears when she becomes who I believe to be Spectrum at this point.
It's got to be Spectrum at this point, right?
I mean, we know it can't be Captain Marvel. There's the belief that it could be Photon. I think it's Spectrum because, look, her eyes are blue and she's seeing things through
It's
a new lens, right? Like
She
it's
is the Matrix.
yeah,
got to be Spectrum.
beautiful blue too. Like
Yeah, it looks great. Really
Yeah.
looks. And when she takes off the like the spacesuit, like the uniform is really close to the original Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel. Like really nice nod to the comics.
black and white,
So here's something I picked up
poofy
on.
hair.
So I picked up on this week too. Is I think it's really cool how we have. There's a lot of like, you know, awesome like women like leading this show, but they don't use like sex appeal to sell the show. Like they wear like realistic outfits. Like they let Wanda, be in sweatpants and all. Like they just let them be actors. And I think
they
that's
weren't sexualized. Yeah.
not at all. Like, and they could easily do that with Monica. Like they could put her in something completely different when she is in her outfit, so to speak.
Yeah.
But they don't. I think it's really cool. And like obviously, Wanda, they could do it. We've seen her in other shows. I think it's really cool that they just let them be like themselves and let them act.
And Vision here is saying that these impediments to stop him from returning home. So that's what I think the strong man was. I think that the strong man was like these stoplights, was like this work crew, like the other things that we're going to see come up, to try to do everything that she can to keep Vision from coming home, if it is Wanda at all doing this.
It says that the actress that was Gooner that's all she was Gooner, but so I don't know what's up with that. I still think it's a scroll.
Yeah.
This is weird. Okay, this is weird.
It's just
raining.
all keeping her. Yeah.
But it's raining. But remember, in Wanda's world, it was beautiful every day, right? It was like 70 and sunny. And then, like, I think that this is Agnes trying to keep these two from getting back to the town, not Wanda.
Well, right. That's why I'm saying, like, at this point, like, it would be safe to assume that Wanda's doing this, but we find out later that it may not be Wanda at all,
Yeah.
But I don't think, I honestly, like, as a show, I don't love this. Because
I kind of like this because
Darcy's in control, but then she's like, "Oh, I can't go," because if Vision really freed her, she would just hit the gas and just drive. Like she would just go through the red light. It doesn't make any sense why she would stop.
Well, I mean, they're freed in a sense to where she has this, but I mean, there is like the show aspect of everything going on around them too. And I did like how Vision is learning more about what happened, about how that Wanda killed him, brought him back, like gave him a quick little footnote of his life, and now we see Monica and Wanda together again.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And Wanda is not happy.
I just want to say something about Wanda. She is always like just starts swinging first. You guys ever notice that? Like she's automatically just goes right to like battle.
Yeah.
Like she's not there it is.
Dottie for a quick second.
Yeah, that was Dottie.
Yep, it was Dottie.
And how about that? She countered being slammed down by magic with her newfound powers.
Yeah,
and Wanda is just like, whoa.
What? How about the superhero landing? How great was that?
Yeah.
That uniform looks great. Her uniform looks perfect for a modern.
Yeah.
Compared to, it's just wonderful. They nailed her.
And she is just like, I don't care. Like, I'm here to help.
Yeah, she's fearless. She is killing. Like you got like we're talking about, we never ever in a million years thought we would get a live action Monica Rambeau, and we're getting a great version of it. Just wonderful.
And she's being introduced in a brand new way compared to anybody else.
Really cool way to do it.
And how about Agnes checking the scene out, looks it up and down, is like, nah, I don't like this. I need to intervene.
Notice the neighbors are like kind of paused now that Wanda's focusing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good call. Nobody else is moving.
Yeah, just look. They're just like.
And this is such a good callback to the comics. When anytime Wanda has something happen, like all of her super friends, like always try to talk her down.
Yeah, to a point.
Yeah. And Agnes is real quick to come in and be like, "Nah, I can't have you interfering with Wanda here."
What is it about Monica that allows her to resist Agnes?
She's Superman.
But she was like that. She was like that when she first went in, though. Too. Look at the box. There's the box.
And he's wearing a Presto shirt too.
That's so. Yeah. Yep. The box is so cool, though.
What's in the box?
Yep. That's just it. It's identical. What's in a box?
What's in the box?
Look at this, though. This is just weird.
It's so cheesy, though. And look, kids again.
Oh, it's fine. But my point is, like, they're really not in control.
Yeah.
Like they really can't help. They're still just puppets. But we see the vision kind of coming out of it here. His uniform. I'm sorry. He looks great.
Yeah. And I like how he's sympathizing for Wanda at this moment too. And it's starting to feel like that he wants to help her now instead of like be against her. Yeah.
Well, he's computing. He's figuring it out. That's what Vision does.
Computations, right?
Yep. This is great. He pulls off the mic.
Now he's aware.
As a podcaster, we get it.
Yes. And he does fly away, Jeff. You finally get your Vision being aware.
Great.
Darcy's just like, no, that's cool. Oh man.
This is where I start getting nervous because this is where one of my favorite shows is taking a left turn on me.
And look at what Wanda notices. She hears the kid shows. She sees the snacks and the drink there.
Oh, it's classic Hansel and Gretel situation.
Where are the kids?
Right.
Senior Scratch. Just ominous music playing in the background. Like, make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. You know, the death fly right there on the curtains.
Oh, yeah. With the colors of Tommy, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I did not notice that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Agnes mentions that they're probably playing in the basement. Like, probably Agnes, or is the basement exactly where they are? And Wanda's making her way down the stairs now. It's a normal looking basement.
Yeah.
Calling for the boys. No one answers.
As someone in construction, this basement's got a lot of problems. I don't know.
It's not in code, is it?
No, there's so many issues.
It's dark, but it's still a little lit. Like, you could imagine a basement looking like this until it's got vines and trees growing out of a dark corridor in the corner of it.
I've been in some basements.
That's what Jeff was talking about.
Yeah.
I've been in some basements that look like that. Then here we go. Now we're into a dungeon.
Yeah.
So one of the videos I watched mentioned how when she goes in, the aspect changes from to out whenever it's outside the hex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And check this out, dude. It feels very like Thor. You know what I mean? Like it's starting to feel like a Marvel movie at this point. You have these dark artifacts, tiny skulls, vines all over pillars. Everything's made out of stone.
Mm-hmm.
And look at that book, gentlemen. Oh my goodness. That's huge.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell us about the book here.
I got you guys. And look, Agnes is flexing her purple magic.
Yes.
And the name drop that we've been waiting for. She says that she's Agatha Harkness.
This is a neat little scene where they show Agnes like.
Does this sound like the Monsters to you?
Yes, very Monsters. I love it. Love it.
And the plant.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Who's been pulling every evil string, and it's showing her behind the scenes just stirring stuff up. So at that moment, okay, we can go back to that, but she taps into Herb here.
Oh, nice. My man Herb.
Yep. Pietro, she's controlling Pietro. So is Pietro real?
No. Or I don't know. I don't know if he's not real, but this is great. I knew it last week she was BS
acting. And look at her. She's in the director's chair.
Wait, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Only Catherine Hahn. Like, what a just.
And I killed Sparky too. Not in keeping with the comics, but still.
Yeah.
And that would appear to be the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll let it run here because there's actually post credits.
The first post credit scene.
Yes, exactly. Finally, it was worth our while. The 8 minutes of credits. So, but here's the thing that disappointed me. It's just me personally. I'm not a magic guy. Like I don't like the comic magic characters. Like in the DC universe, like Constantine. Like I can't stand Constantine.
Yeah.
Magic. Like that's why I've never liked Wanda. And so I was so disappointed, and I'm like, oh, and that's why I called this Hocus Pocus, because I'm like, are we just gonna have a witch battle? Like I want more. I got Monica Rambeau. I need more. I'm not giving up.
I think that there will be more. I think that there will be. I don't think that it's
Fellow contractor says they might need a 3-way switch at the top of the stairs. Yes, exactly, Ryan. That's what I'm saying. But I don't hate it. I'm just saying, me personally, I was really hoping that we weren't going this direction, and it might not. It might completely change.
I mean, Agnes is magical, so like bringing her in should foreshadow that there would be.
And it's fun. And here's the thing, though. We talked about it a couple weeks ago when Doctor Strange came out. I thought I was going to hate it because of the same reasons, but I loved it. So like, I'm keeping an open mind. I really wanted. I'm a cosmic guy. Sorry, I'm a cosmic guy.
Yeah,
I'm a Fantastic Four show up. Whatever. Then here we go. We should be getting close to an actual cut scene here.
Yep, here we go. That's the end of the credits, is what it looks like. But now they show Monica outside of Agnes's house.
Monica does not. She has zero GAF.
Yes, she's peeking through.
Yep.
Looking in the rooms and stuff. She sees the little cellar entry. It's open. And now there's purple magic and the vines and stuff.
Yeah. But her eyes were glowing. Oh, and they're purple. Oh, her eyes were purple.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
I didn't catch it the first time.
Snooper's gonna snoop, though. Pietro walks up to her and says, "Snooper's gonna snoop."
All right, so we're gonna stop the show there at 32:29. The Georgia Peach Sun, which is awesome that they filmed this. I assume they film it in Georgia. Georgia does a great job.
Probably Atlanta. That's where everything is.
Yes,
filmed.
ATL in the house.
That's where they're gonna host the NBA All-Star Game, by the way, on March 7th.
Dope. So there we are, gentlemen. I mean, once again, I think I liked watching that episode better with you guys than I did the night that I watched it. And I figured I would.
It definitely gets better on the rewatch. Just like the last episode 6, I was like, and then I rewatched it. And then again, it's always better with friends. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, now we'll go through some of here. I'm just adjusting my picture. Everybody knows the deal. I got to fidget around for 20 minutes after we watch the show.
Yeah, since we don't have a butler, we have to do everything ourselves.
So let's start breaking this. Let's start breaking episode 7 down here. All right, Steven, you kind of lead the way here. We'll start.
Okay, well, I guess we can just glide through everything, and then when I get to some of the big things that I notice, I can stop. But I mean, if there's a point that you gentlemen want to make, please feel free to stop me.
Yeah, we're not supposed to speak up.
Yeah, well, I know. I'm just trying to be nice. This is your house, Jeff. You're just letting me sleep.
Hey, you guys are always welcome to Wayne Manor.
There you go.
Tower. Is it Hunt Tower?
It's Hunt Manor.
It's MCU.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So
we're in the WandaVision home. We talked about how it was a sit-down style, interview style. It felt like we were up to date. Like it wasn't going to be. I think it's safe to say now that the television-wise, we should be done.
I think that was the last television episode. I believe so.
Yeah. So we talked about Tommy and Billy saying that the game's freaking out. Wanda, and you mentioned too that Wanda seemed very dismissive. Like, does she feel like that the boys aren't really real at this moment?
Figure out how she doesn't seem like she.
That was the first time she felt like she did not want to be around the kids at all.
Oh yeah, like when Agnes is like, "I'll take him," she's like, "Okay, go ahead."
Yeah.
Really, and I'm never like just the whole like I need a day thing. Like that was really, Vision's not there. Yeah, I wasn't super comfortable with where she was at. But what I'm worried about is this what's happening? Or okay, that's predictions. But like, does she not think the kids are real, but we know they are? Like, is she the only one that doesn't know they're real? Because she just doesn't seem as attached as she should be. And then all of a sudden, is that what's going to happen the next episode? Is she realized now that, like, oh my gosh, that actually happened? And then we're gonna then you're gonna have a scorned mother, and then everything's off the table. Maybe that's what it leads to. Sorry, I got into early predictions there, but that just
No, it's all right.
So continue.
And then Rob, this is for you, man. So I mentioned that the radio transmissions were on there. I don't know if you went back and read what they were, but I have a little bit of what it said. So when Wanda's walking around in the kitchen, there's a radio transmission on, and I didn't really pick up on it until I watched it with closed captions on there.
Rob caught that.
And it says, "I hope your little ghosts arrived home last night." So I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Like, are they dead? Whatever. Like, kind of in keeping with that theory that I had that the kids are from, Lagos or Germany or
yeah.
Yep. So and it also says it's always such a treat to see those creepy kiddos out and about once a year, which again I thought was really weird. And we talked about how the kids just all of a sudden showed up in that episode, and that was a point of conversation between Wanda and Pietro. But then the rest of it's easy, just about eating candy or whatever. It didn't really seem anything prevalent. And then the milk carton, it shows a missing kid on the back, and this kind of felt like that witch theme that we were talking about. Are these kids being controlled by Agnes? Because now at the end of the episode we know that she's a witch. Is she the one that's controlling these kids? And is that missing person, could that be either Agnes' son, Senior Scratch? And also I was seeing that there's a theory that Wu's missing person may be that child. What do you guys think about that?
I thought he said it was a witness.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the missing person is the witness. Is it a child though?
I guess
could it be that missing kid that was on that milk carton?
The whole kids and children has definitely been a theme throughout the entire show, for sure.
Yeah, so that was something that I thought. And then the intro video, we touched on all of my notes. The Sword temporary retreat, I think it's interesting to note that they put that it was specifically 8 miles outside of Westview.
Oh, yes, I picked up on that. So that gives us a
radius or
a size, because we're getting close to New York City. Then if the Hex gets to New York City, then all of a sudden you start bringing the Fantastic Four into it.
Yeah, well, I also think that we're getting close to Salem, Massachusetts as well, right? So,
I don't know.
And if we are, right, then, that's getting into famed witch territory. So
I would hope not. Yep. That's just me personally. I hope not. Not a witch. I know. Sorry, I'm just not a witch guy.
Just something that I think that should be in there. And then Hayward talked about, launching that project today, or, that we launched today. And we didn't get to see that in the episode. I think that he's talking about cataract. Do you guys think anything different, or?
No, that's the only thing that really came to mind for me.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about it. I think that I'm starting to think that Hayward's a good guy, and that Hayward has been using Vision's technology with Vision's consent, because Vision's always more aware than the humans are. That's kind of his thing. That's always the thing about Vision, is that he's not skewed by like actual human emotion. He evaluates it. So he's actually, that's his whole thing. It's like he might be more human than humans. And I think that Hayward and Vision may have had an agreement, because Vision is an operating system. That I don't think that he's trying to use Vision as a weapon. It may turn into a weapon, like I said, a Sentinel, but I don't think he has bad intentions. I think he cares for Vision in a way.
I still think that he's up to no good. That's just me. Rob, I don't know how you feel about that.
I still think he's a bad guy. I still don't like him.
You guys still on the head bad guy. It's so obvious to me that
maybe so I still think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's the main one. I think he's going to be trumped by somebody else. Not necessarily a puppet for a worse villain, but I think there's going to be another villain that kind of shows Hayward, hey, look, this is, I got this. I'm in charge.
I still think it's going to be like Co-Commander Grinch, or maybe even, an affiliate of Norman Osborn is kind of my running theory on this. Then we touched about, the kids being in WandaVision's home. She asked if the kids seen Vision. We didn't talk about this during the rewatch. I just think that I thought it was odd that she asked if the kids had seen Vision, because one would think that she expanded the hex in order to save him. And the kids ask, hey, should we go and look for him? And Wanda says,
that's a good point. Like, I like that. Yeah. Because
and
like
then
we assumed that last week that's why she expanded the hex, but then well, you know what? Is that why they showed the scene? The first thing she does is reach over an empty bed and he's not there. Is that why she did it? Like, wait a minute, I expanded this to help you, but you're not here, but I can't control that.
yeah, and she even says herself, like, if he doesn't want to be here, there's nothing I can do about it, which I found odd because she literally expanded the hex to save him, even though he didn't want to be in the hex. You know what I mean? So the thing that she said that she can't do, she actually did do. We talked about the 5-day forecast and about how the 10th was highlighted on that calendar in the intro video, and that actually fell on a Friday. I think that's significant. We'll probably see something happen in the next episode on that.
Or maybe just because the show, they come on Disney Plus on a Friday.
Could be it.
Nice.
I didn't even think about that.
Nice. No, that makes a lot of sense. That's something that's very Disney of them to do.
Yeah.
Like I can totally see that. Yep.
It feels like very breaking the fourth wall for them to be able to do that. I didn't even think about that. That's a good call. And then we talk about how Wanda is drifting into everything is meaningless and how we think that could lead to a darker realm, which we saw at the end of the episode. And then Agnes, of course, walks in, wants to take care of the kids like she did when they were born. And she mentions that she won't bite. And then she does say, well, I've actually bitten a kid before.
Yeah.
And then also Wanda calls Agnes a lifesaver again. And she said this before with when she came to watch the kids. And I'm just curious to know, like, it's happening too frequently for it to be an accident. So whose life did she save?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Because even at the end, when we see that it's been Agatha all along.
That's probably who went and got Vision's body. That's probably Agnes.
Well, and I was just about to say, when it's been Agatha all along, it didn't show her do anything with Vision in that recap. It was everybody else around Wanda and Vision. It doesn't show her bringing Vision in. So I think that's still a mystery that we're going to find out in later episodes, maybe even the next one, right? And then Agatha leaves and things start changing around the house again. And we see Monica and Jamie again driving in the vehicle, talking about the email, which it didn't really give off anything that I thought was important at that moment. Because
here's what I'm starting to get nervous about outside of the hex.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're into episode 7 now. At episode 3 and 4, when we started leaning into this, and 5, we're like, oh, this is great. Outside the hex now, I'm worried has just become a commercial for whatever is going to happen next in the MCU. And it's starting to bother me that they're just like they're doing all this, but it's just going to be building on something else. Like, it's going to bleed into something else, or it's just and that's not what I wanted. This thing was started off in the first 3 episodes, so self-contained and such a great story. I assume the next 2 episodes put together, 8 and 9, will be basically a Marvel movie, which is going to be cool. But I just don't need I don't need a constant leading up to something else. Like,
so outside the hex, like, you're worried about whatever they're setting up is going to lead into something.
Yeah, it's starting to feel okay. So I'm not a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at all. Didn't watch it.
I liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. This is starting to feel like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as to where, like,
I don't get the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. feel.
I just get the feeling that they don't have an end in mind. They're like, just do this. We'll see how people react, and then we'll just like build on this world, as opposed to having a goal in mind. It's just starting to be too open-ended outside the hex. It's really starting to, like, they're giving us clues and stuff, but they're not giving us the results. Like, we did not. They led us up last week. Like, we were going to meet somebody this week that was going to blow our mind, and we got nothing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob.
I don't know. The only reason I don't agree with that is because it's Disney, and Kevin Feige, he's way too smart to do something like that. I mean, we're talking about a company and a person who has everything mapped out for almost the next 10 years, where this universe is going.
But that's what worries me. In 10 years, I may look back and go, I had the payoff. I just want something more finite. You know what I mean? I want this to end. I want to have closure, and it just outside of the hex is starting to become too
Well, we know that there's going to be other shows coming out. Like right now, you can see that there are, Falcon and Winter Soldier
Mhm.
is coming out. We know that there's going to be a Hawkeye show. We know that there's going to be other Marvel projects in the work as well. And in order to build into those, I think that what they're doing is setting up that it's not going to be so open ended that I think that we're going to left
I hope
being
not.
like, what the heck? But I think that they are going to do things to kind of tie into what's going to
Okay,
happen
so
with
I'll
the
ask you
next
this though,
shows.
like this was the first episode where Jimmy Woo just felt like another character. Like he didn't do anything like monument, like he didn't blow us away. Like we didn't talk about Jimmy. Like he read an email and then
Yeah.
he asked Monica, "What? Like, are you sure?" That's it. That like where did the Jimmy Woo go from all those other episodes? You know what I'm like? That's the part that and that's what worries me.
Well, outside the hex, I think is still trying to. They're building up to something, especially with Hayward saying that they're about to launch something,
I hope so.
and with Monica being able to enter the hex through this episode. I think that I don't know it's going to be so open ended that maybe you may be worried about. I do though think that you're onto something that it's gonna leave enough space to where it could tie into other Marvel projects.
Yeah, now that worries me. You should
Yeah.
like any good show, you should be able to get rid of any character at any time. And I'm starting to feel like these guys are just vehicles to like move this thing along. And I was just really disappointed in what they did with Jimmy. Like, no impact. Darcy was fine.
Mhm.
Darcy was just fine in this episode. Like, she kind of went back to her old, like, kind of Thor days, as to where she was really, really strong and really driving things for about two episodes.
Yeah.
And then now she's just kind of the like comic relief.
I say
You
what
know?
I say it with with how great everything's been so far. I'd just give it an episode before,
Well, but we're running out of episodes. That's the
well,
problem.
correct. And this just feels like the calm, like it feels like if you're watching the ocean, right? This feels like the waves are getting pulled back, and then another crash is about to
Well,
happen. You
that's
know what
what
I
I'm
mean?
worried is that the wave's not going to crash. I
Uh,
hope I'm wrong. I've seen it. I've been through this before when they start thinking like, wait a minute, if we can stretch 3 seasons out of this. And that's why I like to go back to Disney with the Mandalorian.
mhm.
We started worrying about that, but they didn't do it. Like, man,
Yeah.
they bring it. And so but I'm saying this is 2 episodes in a row to where we're kind of like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Inside the Hex was pretty good this week.
Yeah.
Inside the Hex, I think, failed a little bit. I think they spent a lot of money on spitting the vehicle out of the wall.
Yeah.
And Monica, once she hit the wall, was pretty cool. That was
Mhm.
really cool. But like, we didn't care about Gooner. Jimmy was just there. He read got an email on his phone, like he was just there. They didn't really let Randall Park really act. I felt really empty about outside of the Hex this time. I didn't feel like there was any consequences, like anything mattered outside of the Hex. It was just, anyway, we'll move on, but
That's fair.
I'm getting nervous.
And and again, like I see hints of what you're saying, but I think that I'm gonna give it an episode before
Oh,
yeah.
But I'm saying next episode has to be good, right?
Oh yeah, and I have zero doubts that it will
Rob's
disappoint.
holding his tongue. Well, let's let Rob go. What's your thoughts on outside of the Hex?
Outside the hex, so it just wasn't a outside the hex centric show this time. It was obviously more focused. The whole thing about Jimmy Woo, I mean, it's called WandaVision, not Jimmy Woo.
That's
Although
fair.
Jimmy Woo should get his own show.
That is fair. So
they need an origin story for that man.
Here's what I'll say, Rob. Here's why I agree with you. I forget that in our mind, they don't make these shows after we watch the other.
Right.
That's a great point. They would have no way to know, whatever, a year and a half ago when they're filming this, how much we would love Jimmy Woo. So that is a fair point.
But my theory is that they have spent about $50 million for the first 7 episodes, and the other $200 million are about to be in episode.
I assume, right? I assume we're going to get an actual.
Oh yeah, it's gonna, like we said earlier, and we even said it last week, that this week was probably going to be the last TV show, kind of, because you've gone through the decades. It hit the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. We're in the here and now. And it's definitely going to convert over to the actual MCU, and everybody's going to get brought in. Well, other characters will be brought in. I still think Reed Richards is going to make an appearance at some point.
I think it's too early. I don't think that
it
Reed.
can't be.
I think it's too
You
early.
have to do so. You have
John
to do
Krasinski.
something.
That's the rumors are John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
I would love John Krasinski to
That's
be.
the rumors.
I would love for him to be in that. I
Yeah,
think it's too early. I think there's
ahead.
enough movies in line that we know are going to happen that they could put in characters to build up for that.
Maybe they don't even put in a character. Maybe they have an email from somebody and the signature is R. Richards. I mean,
I'll take it.
That would be fine. I hope that they just don't throw in a Fantastic Four guy in this early, especially when this is an X-Men themed character. Right. Like if it's anybody, we've already seen an X-Men character get brought in. It needs to be along the lines of X-Men. Throwing in Yeah, Bree, you're right. That's my wife, Brianna. She says, I think that the boy on the milk carton is missing his link somehow to the small skulls on the shelf. Yeah. I think that that's just a nod to, witches being witches.
So to completely do a 180 here, because this is what Rob does. He's the best at it, even when whether we're talking about sports or whether we're talking about the MCU. Now that I think about it, I would say when they were actually making this show, the creators were like, hey, we're going to let Jimmy Woo kind of carry this. We know people are going to hate it, but then we'll back off from Jimmy Woo in the later episodes. And they had no idea that Randall Park was going to steal.
There's no way after Ant-Man and after other things that Randall Park has been in that they had any doubt that people were going to hate Jimmy Woo. Yeah. I think that this was an episode.
I think I just got too attached to Jimmy. I think
you did.
I think that's good.
We all love Jimmy. Like that's why they brought Randall Park in.
Fair. I think that's fair though. I think everybody's like, no, this, like Rob said, it's not Jimmy Woo vision. Like, good point, guys. Thanks for talking me down.
He'll be in an Ant-Man movie again. Like we will get more Jimmy Woo. There's no way that we don't.
They might even make a whole new superhero just for him.
They might be in the Godzilla movie. That's what I need. I need Jimmy Woo in Godzilla. Boom. I think they've already made the Godzilla movie. We'll take another one. Anyway, we'll move along here.
All right, so back to the show.
I feel good about that.
No, that was good. That was good.
I think we made some progress here.
Yeah, so we're at the circus now. I think the circus nod, did the circus feel like it was like a nod to mutants? Because think about the characters that are involved in a circus.
Oh.
I think that that's just foreshadowing more mutants.
Circus freaks.
Yeah, I think that the theme of a circus is in keeping with
and there has been X-Men in the circus. Like
correct. Wanda and Pietro themselves were.
Yeah, there you go. What do you think about that theory, Rob?
I like it.
I do too.
I like it a lot, actually.
That's a big compliment from Rob.
I like it a lot, actually. Thank you, Rob.
I didn't think about that.
I'm taking that and running with it, man. Rob's
I like it.
Yeah, I do too. That's a great point. I feel better about the circus now. See, I knew you guys would talk me through this. I feel better about the circus. I didn't like the way this. I didn't like the look of it, and
it's too random for it to not mean anything.
Well,
you know what I mean? Because
you're dead on. I think
there's no theme. There's no decade era theme that a circus could tie into.
I just personally didn't like the way it looked and sounded. I just didn't love that part. Go ahead, Rob.
Maybe because it's so new to the Hex, because when we were first brought into the Hex, we're in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that area is so new to the Hex that they're starting from square one.
I agree with that.
And that's why it's a circus. That's why the dealership was, it was a used car dealership and the cars looked the way they did. And that's why the vehicle that Monica tried to take into the Hex, it ended up being like an old pickup truck and not like, a newer, Escalade or something like that. I think just the timing of that, how long that's been in the Hex might have something to do with it.
And that's a good point.
Like it's trying to play it, like it's trying to speed through the eras that we've already seen in WandaVision.
It has to, yeah.
Okay.
And it is weird too, because if you think of what everything looked like when we saw the Hex expanding, that is not what this circus looked like. To Rob's point, it looked way cooler. This just looked kind of, and maybe they were just going for this look because it matched the modern family feel. Like I'm not smart enough to know the cameraman's knows what the lighting and the look and everything is. I just didn't. It didn't. Man, like when we watched the first, like especially we'll say 3 episodes, like I really felt something when I was watching it about the
It felt
look.
like you were in another era. Yeah.
Yeah, this just nothing hit me here, and it was really the circus. You know, we talked about the sword agent. Sorry, not shield, sword agent. It wasn't horrible or anything like that. It looked bad. Now, but I bet that if the director could tell me why he did it, it would make total sense. Like I don't think it was an accident. Like they're like
Oh
they
no.
failed. I just didn't love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll fast forward now. We talked about all of the notes that I had for Wanda's home, and they showed that. We'll talk about the commercial now. I think that this is an important part.
It's that we just
You're
found out
talking
what this
about
show's
Nexus,
about.
so
We just found out what this show's about.
So I was able to do a little bit of research and find out some really interesting things about, Marvel and their tie-ins with the Nexus. So basically a Nexus, or excuse me, a Nexi, a Nexus is like a collection of powerful beings that can basically travel through different realities and stuff like that. And if you remember the theme of this commercial, are you depressed? Do you feel like the world's moving on without you? Basically create your own. And so some of the characters in Marvel that have this ability are Wanda and Vision. Obviously,
sure.
they're in the show. The wizard Merlin, who that would be cool if
I like
Marvel
wizards.
would. Yeah,
which is ironic because I don't love magic.
I mean, I don't know what to.
I know it doesn't make. Yeah, I like the Washington Wizards too. I mean,
no, they were better as bullets. But anyway, who else was is a Nexus, a person who can travel through, or excuse me, a Nexi who can.
I miss the Washington Bullets. I'm not gonna lie. I
Yeah.
really miss the Washington Bullets.
Another person that has the same ability is actually Kang the Conqueror. And if we think about what else is happening in this universe, a lot of it is time related.
Yes.
Do you think that we could be foreshadowing an introduction of Kang the Conqueror?
Oh, absolutely.
Into the MCU?
Yeah, absolutely think we could.
Yeah. And so also I think it's safe to assume that Doctor Strange has this ability too, essentially, since he's going to be the Sorcerer Supreme, and we know that another Doctor Strange movie is coming in. I think with the alternate realities, obviously introducing a brand new Pietro, I think that with the introduction of this commercial, it just seems like it's going to get more and more multiverse.
Yeah, this one really hit you over the head. Like it's the Nexus. I forget. I haven't read the I'm going to read the series this week, the Nexus Wars or whatever it is. But that's what this is. That you're talking mutants. You're talking everything that we're discussing here comes into play. I know people out there probably like, hitting their head against the wall. Like, what do you mean he hasn't read? I haven't read it. I've just.
What do you mean you've never read every comic book ever made?
I know, right? Yeah. The one, the Incredible Hulk's not in it, so I don't know. Go ahead, Rob.
No, I had nothing bad.
So this is. I mean, that's what we're building to. They've basically just handed it to us, like, and you know what? Here's something we skipped when we were talking about the show. Like, speaking of Nexus, like Wanda takes a pill. There would be no reason in a fake reality that Wanda would take a pill. Like if you notice when she was eating the cereal, there was really
she took like a Tylenol. It seemed like at that moment.
I thought it was the Nexus pill, but still, it was like there would be no reason for her to take a pill like that. I think that meant something. That was really weird.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. But
yeah, because they don't do it like Wanda's the one character. Like really, none of the characters do like just menial task or just things that people would actually do because that's not what they live in. So for her to like be like the cereal was weird, like just to sit and eat a bowl of cereal. But then you could tell like this. I don't think it was like TV problem that the cereal bowl was empty and completely dry. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times you guys watch TV shows and they'll have a coffee cup, but there's never anything in the cup.
Right.
They're talking and they're throwing it around. She did that with the cereal bowl, but I think that was intentional because I don't think like she would really eat or any of those real physical things. But the pill really looked real. I think that was intentional for some reason.
I mean, you very well could be right. And again,
most of the time I am.
I mean, that's why, you're the host of the show.
No, it's called Jeff Needs Help. Obviously, I'm never right.
Right on. But yeah, I think that there's merit in that, especially since there was a pill commercial introduced in the show. Mm-hmm. All right. So the rest of the notes, we see Billy holding Senior Scratchy again, Agatha's son. It's a nod to him. mentions that Agnes is quiet on the inside. And
Billy, yes, Billy can't hear Agnes.
which again, like why, like what's the case with that? And again, I think this is building up to what we found out later, that Agnes is not, just the usual suspect.
Well, let me tell you guys something too. Like I was talking to a friend of ours, Ryan, that watches our show every week. Great listener, great friend. He only knows, this is really cool. This is not a negative. It's a positive. He only knows the MCU through watching the movies. Okay, so when he found out, when they revealed last week, what was going on here, that it was Agatha, like he thought that was really cool that we had told him that. So sometimes we have to remember that this show is also made for people who don't do research, who just watch the movies and enjoy them. So like a lot of this, when we're digging into it, like, to us, it seems obvious, but it's really not obvious. So like a lot of this stuff might just not be for us.
And you're right. We did mention Senior Scratchy on the Magic episode, and we did talk about how, Scratch was the name of her son in the comics, right? So that's what I meant when I said obviously. But yeah, thank you, Jeff, for pointing that out. So for anyone who doesn't know,
thank you, Ryan, for being like,
and Ryan, shout out to you.
Kick out of it, man. Yeah.
So Senior Scratchy is a nod to her son in the comics. She actually does have a physical son who is not a bunny, by the way. It's just a neat little way of how they can tie in some of the canon from the comics into the show here. And she mentions Ralph again. We don't know who Ralph is still. I think that we're going to find that out very soon. And then we flash forward.
We have to.
Yeah, it's getting to the point now to where they can't. But we've said that before, right? That they can't string us along anymore.
Seems like every episode we're saying, okay, they can't stretch this out any longer. We went 7 full episodes before we finally got an official.
Yeah.
Hence my trepidation, but I hope.
But as you said, Jeff, we only have 3 more episodes. So
2.
Oh wow, okay, so 2 more episodes. So yeah, I mean, we got to start we're going to start finding things out real quick.
I would hope.
We have to.
I just hope it's not. Go ahead.
But let's see. So we got 2 more episodes. So the last one is going to be the 5th, March 5th, and then 2 weeks after that is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So I mean, they might just be saving some for.
Well, that's what I'm worried about. But if they're saving something, I'm gonna be really, really upset.
Until you watch Falcon versus Winter Soldier, and then you like, oh, okay, I see why they did this.
First of all, Falcon should be Captain America. Like this is a whole
thing. What they got to touch on that. Like you don't just get. I'm not falling for your trap, Jeff. All right. So anyway, we fast forward to Monica and Jimmy Woo, who for whatever reason wasn't a big deal on this show, and they're doing their whole thing to get Monica ready to enter the Hex. Did you guys find it funny that they said when they were communicating with Monica Rambeau that they said Capcom check?
No, that's really cool.
I didn't notice that.
That's cool that they called it Capcom. Obviously, Captain's Communications, but we know that there's a video game, right? Marvel versus Capcom. I think that was
super, super cool. I did not catch that.
Yeah, so that's the only thing from that scene that
Great
I wanted
video
to touch
game
on.
Play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, man,
we might play it a lot.
I had that on Dreamcast. Woof. Great.
Yeah. Good stories too for the story modes, by the way.
Yeah, really. For story modes and fighting games were always the weirdest thing, but yeah, you could be suckered into them. Like Soul Calibur, like somehow you get drug into the
Mortal
story
Kombat.
mode.
Yeah. But anyway, all right. So Vision and Darcy, there's nothing in here that I wanted to touch on in my notes other than that Darcy does mention that for the last 2 weeks she's been watching WandaVision. So I think that was cool that we still have some sort of a timeline established.
Yeah, so we're at about this point, we're about a month after the Hulk snap.
Yeah,
is about where we're at. Yep. And then I ran it by you guys earlier this week. We have to remember, Vision did not get snapped; he died. But so
prior to
Hayward has had Vision for 5 years.
Yeah.
So like Wanda was gone. Wanda went from, Thanos snap to a month from now, this is where she's at. This is 4 weeks in her life, as to where Vision was with Sword for 5 years plus this month, and Hayward was there too. So I think that's very important.
So real quick, back in Age of Ultron, when Vision was created, Bruce Banner even told him, you know, your brain is basically some very complicated network that even if you were to die, there would still be a part of Jarvis, or even if we were to remove the Infinity Stone, there would still be, you know, some reminiscence of Jarvis in there, perhaps the best kind. So maybe he was never actually fully dead. Maybe the OS was still in there operating. So
absolutely, this is absolutely
kind of not conscious, but in a sense, kind of had an idea of what was going on.
He's operating on maybe like an emergency battery or something,
right?
Like
yeah. Well, that's and they even bring that up in the show when, you know, Vision brings up like I was Jarvis, like that. I think Rob, I think you touched on. I think that's the whole point of the show, is that there was like Banner brought it up, like there's still something left, and I think there is a. I don't know if Vision is the physical form that we see in the show, but there is a form of Vision left, which is great because Jarvis can live on forever.
Yeah.
And what's also cool about the way that you guys mentioned how they broke it up to where he's like, okay, so like my memory dates back to an AI named Jarvis, but my corporeal form dates back to, you know, Ultron wanting to use me for genocidal purposes.
Yep.
Same thing.
I miss Ultron. I like to see Ultron.
Oh, dude, absolutely. They got to bring him back.
Ultron fan. James Spader's Ultron was nailed it.
So in the comics, I think that they do a pretty cool nod to what they did in the comics, where Wonder Man's brainwaves were used to basically boot up the original Human Torch's body in order to create Vision in the comics. Like that's kind of his origin. So that's neat that they gave it a nod. What?
It took like 3 pages to do it though. Like now it would take the MCU 8 years to do this story, and they're like, boom, it's done. Like it was amazing. Like,
the comics are great.
That's a great comic. The Ultron.
Which one?
That series there.
How crazy is it that Ultron was like created in like the 50s before computers could even do like awesome things?
No, it's really cool. The stuff they were and he looked great too. Like, oh my gosh.
Absolutely. All right, so now we're at WandaVision's home. We know that Monica.
I'm sorry, Steven. I don't mean to interrupt, but just something that I noticed that we didn't speak on. So the vehicle changed to half of the pickup truck, but nothing that Monica was wearing changed.
Yeah, the suit.
No.
The suit stayed the suit, and then what she was wearing underneath stayed exactly the same.
Yeah, and I have no idea why. Please explain. Any theories?
I was hoping you guys had some insight because
she disregards the helmet. Like,
well, you want to be able to look at her, right? Like, I think that there's a little bit of the cinematic effect that like you don't want to see a helmet pass through. You know what I mean? But maybe the Hex wanted to welcome Monica in because it rejected the vehicle. I mean, what about the vehicle? We know that it was specifically designed to do,
and it spit out the vehicle in a different time frame, but yet Monica goes through like shit. Why? Like Darcy
it had to welcome her in. It's
Darcy
either
had an outfit on,
welcomed in, or it just has to do with her powers, which we don't know that she had. Like, we know that her molecules were being rewritten. So maybe, so maybe that had to do with it because she'd been in the Hex twice, and we know that her cells were being rewritten already. Like,
her outfit, that wouldn't change her outfit.
No, but like
connected to her,
it could be accepting her in because her body is being rewritten.
I think there's going to be some weird like willpower thing, just like Captain Marvel. Like,
could be
like it's a mental, like she mentally overcame it or some weird thing like that. But I think that's a great point, Rob. It kind of bothered me a little bit. Like it was inconsistent. Like, why is Monica so inconsistent? I need the payoff. I need But when she went in the first time, she totally changed and looked apart.
Her body wasn't being rewritten at that moment.
It was though.
No, well, it did after she passed. After she passed,
it rewrite it. From my understanding, her cells gets rewritten every single time she went through.
Yes, exactly.
Correct. The first time went through, the second time and then now obviously for a third time.
When she went through her clothes, but okay, so here, I guess here's the only answer. This essentially, like, Modern Family ended last year? So like, what would it change to? It's current times. Is that the easy way out?
That could be, but also too, she's been phased into the hex and she's been phased out. So she has gone through both sides of the wall. Maybe that's another point too. That both
her clothes didn't. I could see her being like her.
But her clothes changed when she got
where Steven is
out,
going.
right?
Just the fact that she's been through it so many times, so it kind of just
both sides of it too.
It recognized her, I guess.
And as an origin story goes, not a bad idea. I don't hate this origin story. It's very like origin stories are very tough, especially because like Steven said, you go back to these old comics, like they could be a little crazy.
Well, even in movies too, like they spend in a movie, they spend an hour and a half trying to explain.
They'll have a whole movie telling us Uncle Ben died.
It's like, okay, we already know Monica's past. Like they've already talked about it in a couple episodes. And now they just show her.
I think this is actually a good origin story. I'm with you. Okay.
All right. So now we're in the home. Monica runs in to speak to Wanda. She tries to let Hayward or let Wanda know what Hayward's plan is. But then you talked about it. She's like, I'm not trying to hear any of this.
Wanda's always very defensive. Like she's always very defensive. And I know that's like how they grew up and all that. But like
she's
immediately, immediately rejects her.
And then we talked a little bit about, the boxes from Seven, and
the time really cool.
Is because, right, Jeff, Gwyneth Paltrow was in Seven.
Gwyneth Paltrow was the head in the box in Seven. And then she was, she obviously was in the MCU. That's no accident there that it was the same box. It was really, really cool. And I think it was just for fun. I don't think it means anything about Pepper or anything. I think it was just for fun, and I loved it.
I will be super upset if Pepper Potts is chopped up in this box.
Pepper Potts' head in the box?
No. And then Dottie, we talked about Dottie being just shown in for just that long.
What was with Dottie for a second? Like
she's gonna come back up, has to. All right, and then Vision and Darcy show up again, and then Vision becomes self-aware and realizes, oh hey, I can fly home now. So now he's finally like cognizant of who he is.
Yeah,
I wonder if
he finally broke out of the television screenplay. That was real. I think that was a big factor going forward.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's because Darcy basically just gave him a quick little synopsis of who he and Wanda were and what happened.
I think that, but by the way, like I was kind of down on Darcy on this episode, but I don't mean to say that as like, I don't think that Kat did her job. I think that's exactly what she was supposed to do. But I thought because Kat and Paul were such great actors. I thought the interaction between those two was awesome. Like, I think they did their job. I thought the chemistry was there. I thought the conversation was good. And I think you're exactly right that she gave Vision enough intel to where but how cool was it though? Because like, even though like he kind of snapped out of it and realized like, why am I talking to you guys? I got to go. He's still like kind of like fussed around and threw off the microphone, because you really wouldn't do that. You would just fly.
Yeah.
But he's
playing into the television aspect of it,
which was a super good shot. It was like really funny, like, but that means they're always still like at least like 10% they're still in the TV show is what that told you. Like they're still a little bit under control. I thought that was just a neat shot. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah. And then we get into Agnes's home, and I want to fast forward now because everything up until this point was pretty self-explanatory. So I want to get to the part now where Wanda is in this, chamber or dungeon, and she sees what I'm calling the book, and it's
let's talk about the book, Steven. So
I think, and Jeff, you'll remember this from the comics. Rob, I don't know if you've read a lot of the Wanda and Vision.
I have not.
Or just okay. So there's a book in I believe it's the 1982 series, one of the older ones, where they start getting into Wanda and Vision really being together. There's a book, Jeff, if you remember, it's called, I'm probably going to mispronounce it, but it's the Druid Tome. And basically, it's a spell book that they use in a couple of issues of that series, right? And which can wield terrible spells and things of that nature. I think that is very in keeping with what we believe that a lot of the influences from the comics that are coming into this television show. I think it would make sense for it to be the Druid Tome. another theory that I saw is that this could be the Darkhold. And it's interesting that if it is the Darkhold, that they would use it again. It's actually appeared in a couple of other Marvel shows, including Agents of Shield, which Jeff you hate. So Jeff hates Shield, and then
I don't know if I hate it.
Just for that, I hope it is then.
yeah, and it's also in the Runaways too. Now
I hope they give it a $30 million contract like Ezekiel. I hope they give Agents of Shield an extension.
Yes, I love
I hope
that.
Agents of Shield is the next Ezekiel Elliott or
Saquon Barkley,
Herschel Walker.
Yeah,
but anyway, they're trading everything for Agents of Shield. Anyway, go on.
So if this is the Darkhold one, it would be a kind of a retread thing that they've used in shows before, but the Runaways wasn't really successful.
No.
Shield was kind of hit and miss, so I think that they could introduce this kind of mainstream, and there would be enough of a following of people to have no idea that this had appeared anywhere before. And so if they use that, what's interesting is that this could introduce a character called Chiton, and basically this would tie into Wanda's origin story, because this is a very magical being, and he creates the Darkhold as a book that can pretty much control all magic in the MCU, which that could tie into Doctor Strange.
This has Doctor Strange. If we don't see Doctor Strange next episode, I will be shocked.
Yeah, I think he may be in the last episode. I don't know about the next one. He may be in the last one. But anyway, so it could be the Darkhold, and it can introduce that, and maybe, just maybe, if this book that controls all magic in the MCU is introduced and used in that manner, maybe that's how X-Men are created. Like, that's something that I think that could be tied in.
You think they're going to go for okay, let's go around the table right here. This is great, because this is leading into X-Men. Before we finish up the episode, the climatic scenes, we'll go around here. As of right now, in the MC universe, where they're at, we're 2 weeks after the Hulk snap and all that. Do you guys think that X-Men exist? Rob, do you think X-Men are on the planet in this universe as we speak?
In this universe, or at an alternate universe existing at the exact same time?
No, right where they're at. Right where they're at. Do I think?
Would have to say no.
Okay, so Steven's saying this could be a creation point for the X-Men, which
I think that they exist. I just don't think that they're on Earth yet.
No, they're not on this Earth.
Okay,
so otherwise
you're going
alternate realm.
You're going with just another one. Like, they're not.
They're
not. Okay, so is this the 616 or not? How about that?
Well, yes. The interesting thing about
this 616.
If this is 616, we have to know who Monica is first, because if Monica is Spectrum, that's the Monica Rambeau on Earth 616.
Yes,
that is Monica Rambeau being Spectrum.
Right, exactly. So, okay, I was just curious. Like, we haven't really touched on that. Is like it is very delicate how they're going to figure out to work the X-Men into. And I think that so have you guys read the Spider-Man after the Civil War saga of how they did all that? Have you guys read any of that?
I have. I'm just now getting into comics.
Okay,
into the comics, I should say.
So essentially, what happens? Spoiler alert. After Civil War, which is a great read, I recommend reading every episode of Civil War, every comic involved. I think it's like
way different than the movie. Way different, because they have all the characters.
Yeah. It's like 100 comics total. But what happens afterwards is essentially Spider-Man. Something bad happens to Aunt May. Spider-Man makes a deal with Mephisto, and it's a bad deal. But basically what they used that to do, I meant to bring this up to you guys this week. I know I'm springing it on you. So basically what they used this to do is Spider-Man makes a deal. They can essentially restart the Spider-Man comic. So like the next comic after the deal that he makes, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, is essentially like they're just a completely new comic, new direction, new Peter Parker, new everything. And I'm wondering that they could be doing that with WandaVision, because we've talked about Mephisto endlessly. And I'm wondering if they could be doing the same thing, to where like at the end of this, essentially Marvel can do whatever they want. And if you read the comic, like I recommend it, you would totally get what I'm saying. Essentially, Mephisto's like, if you want this, this is what you got to do. And that's how they fixed the Civil War trouble. So like, that's why a lot of comics after the Civil War saga, like, don't refer to it. And you're like, I don't understand. Like, Mephisto just changed the universe. So I'm wondering if that's what this is leading up to, is that then the MCU can do whatever they want. Like Mephisto will be like, okay, here you go, Wanda. Here's the deal I'm making you. Bang. And then all of a sudden you've got X-Men, you've got Fantastic Four. That's an easy way for them to get out of this. Is what
my theory.
I'll send you the number of the comic, and you guys, I'll send it this week.
So my theory, if you guys remember, we talked about it a couple episodes back. I think we don't know exactly how far wide-ranging the snap was. So
the universe.
So, but how many universes? You know what I mean? Like, did this snap alter other universes too? Because if that's the case, I think that
you're saying like I alternate. I got you now.
Yeah, other alternate universes like could have been affected by the snap, and if they snapped, I think that there's an easy way where they can tie this to where they all went to the Underrealm, right? Where Mephisto is, right?
Yeah.
And Mephisto is working in this reality that we saw where the snap took place, and he's obviously trying to separate Wanda and Vision apart from each other, right? So they can infiltrate, right? I think that there's going to be some way where the snap affected other realities, and they all ended up to Mephisto. And Mephisto is trying to raise hell on Earth, which is what I mentioned before.
Yeah, and that's always the problem with these overpowered characters like Wanda, is like that they can do whatever they want, and it can be a little. That's why I'm a daredevil guy. Like I like a guy that can like break his leg, as opposed to like Mephisto can just change the universe whenever he wants. I'll get you guys that comic, and I'll be curious this week to see what you think. So all right, let's so we'll move on. I keep slowing us down.
That's all the notes that I had. I just wanted to also touch on too that I brought up in the first episode that Agnes came in with that plant, and I believe that it's the what's it called, the Wondagore Everbloom, and basically this is a plant where if you eat 2 petals, right, and it can help you see the future. You have to eat one after hunger, the second after murder, and they brought the plant into it again. I don't think that was accidental.
And we talked about it in some of the earlier episodes. In episode 1 or 2, like we knew this was going to be, Agatha Harkness. We talked about like she is responsible for the, I won't call it the death, but the kids being gone. I don't know how else to explain it, because the twins are such an odd, cool, like unique thing in the comics, but Agatha is responsible for them not being there. in some of the comics,
her and Mephisto.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that's what we're,
or Ralph, whoever that is, right?
Yeah, who in the heck is Ralph? So, oh man,
that's all the notes that I had. Then
the cutscene. Okay, so you have the cutscene. Monica's looking down. The cellar doors. And she's just looking in, and then Quicksilver. The Quicksilver that we know right now from last week, pops up and says,
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Yeah, Snooper's gonna snoop. So, which is very like aware, which means he's not some kind of like, I don't think that means he's some kind of crazy like cosmic character. I think that means he's kind of a, boots on the ground kind of character now. Monica's eyes were purple and not light blue. I caught that right at the end. So that was it. So you guys make anything out of the cutscene?
No.
Just that Monica's trying to save Wanda and has.
Do you think it's just straightforward? So I guess what we're getting at here, did this episode, I won't say not try as hard, but not like this episode was more
the rankings. We can do like
we'll do the ratings here. So it feels like this episode was a little more straightforward.
Yeah.
Here, I'll put some banners up. Sorry, we got so crazy. We'll do ratings and then predictions. This was fun. I think we had some good conversation tonight. Like I'm going to listen to this back. Like I feel good.
I always listen back to him. I don't know if that's like conceited or whatever.
No, no,
I always
we're
listen to that.
we're really good at stuff. But
are.
by the time I listen to you guys, every week, and then listen to everybody else, like I run out of time to listen to my own shows back anymore. It's true. Yeah, let's do the ratings. I started last week. Rob, so once again, if first time listener or viewer, we rate our WandaVision episodes out of 6 Infinity Stones. So 0 to 6, is the scale. So like last week, was roughly like, I think it averaged 2 or 3. A few weeks ago it was like 6. So that's how we rate our episodes. So Rob, how many Infinity Stones does episode 7 of WandaVision get?
So I give this one 3.
Okay.
Because like you said, it was a very straightforward episode. There was nothing crazy, nothing very climactic. There was no, the most action we got was that little stand down between Monica and Wanda, but nothing really crazy. The ending was probably the best part just because it was confirmed Agatha Harkness, but really nothing over the top, nothing really crazy, no big reveals other than obviously the one that we already knew. So yeah, I think a solid 3. It's a solid 3 because I think these next 2 are going to be, we might have to make up some Infinity Stones for these next 2 episodes.
I hope so. I hope so. Steven's got some in the bank.
I mean, they do like have more Infinity Stones but anyway, sorry.
Yeah, we can't go down that road. So, all right, Steven, how many Infinity Stones? WandaVision, episode 7.
Because Rob is so smart, I'm going to say 3. I was going to say 3 anyway. That was the number that I had in my head. And I gave the last episode 3, and I feel just about as good with this one. Didn't make us do a whole lot of research, which was nice as well. It was very straightforward to your guys' point. It was almost a filler episode, but what really kind of prevented it from being lower to me was the fact that we got a dope origin story thrown in there.
I was just in my mind was just thinking that.
I think that if I could, that's basically what made this episode good to me is that, Monica had such a key pivotal moment. And I hate that it was almost in a throw-in episode. I wish like they would have started, if next episode is going to be dope, like it would have been really cool if they could have started that episode with.
Now you've got me going the other way with it. Did we waste a great origin story?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could be talked down to 2, but the origin story was cool. The druid tome or the Darkhold, whatever that was at the end. You can ask Brianna. I was like, that's important. Like that's huge. So that was cool. I don't know. I didn't really feel Wanda in this episode at all. Probably.
Yeah, you were disappointed with Wanda.
I loved Wanda in this one.
Really?
I did. I am a big Elizabeth Olsen fan just in general.
I love her too. Like
Rob, I think I'm more with you. Like I think they're asking so much of her. Like how many times have we asked an actress in 7 episodes to play 7, actually not even 7 different characters, 7 different characters plus outside of the Hex characters.
Yeah.
The range that she has to show, and Steven said,
all right, so hang on, I'm not knocking Elizabeth Olsen's acting.
Yes, you are. You can't go back on it.
I'm absolutely.
You just said you hate her, and she should never act again. That's what
I said is that this version of Wanda, this one version, was my least favorite. It was my least favorite Wanda.
We're sports podcasters, Steven. That means.
Oh, I forgot. I can only operate at 1 to 10.
The worst ever. Like we've never seen an actress as bad as
Elizabeth Olsen is a fraud. I said
she's a fraud.
She's a fraud.
Yeah.
She was 11-0 and then lost the game. She's just trash now.
Yeah, so. She gets all the calls and all she does is flop. So
I hate that.
Great comments by Rachel Cruz, by the way. We appreciate everything you do for us. And
I heard she's a smart person.
I do, and letting us borrow your husband once a week. Okay, so I'm going to say it. I'm giving it a 2.
Okay,
and
I could be talked down to that.
And here's why: because I felt like they played it safe. I really do. Like they built up last week, like we were going to meet Mr. Fantastic. No. The reveal at the end. I'm not a witch guy, so the reveal at the end, I'm like, oh great, witches, because here's the thing, like they're so uber powerful. I don't need a battle of them just throwing different colored magic at each other. I don't need that. So that kind of put me.
I want that audio of you just saying, "Oh, great, witches."
Yeah,
I want that audio.
Monica Rambeau origin story I thought was pretty cool, and I'm glad they did it.
I'm sorry that I ruined this episode by saying that they could have put it in the next one.
Jimmy, yeah, you're right. Jimmy Woo, I thought they wasted him, but then Rob kind of talked me off that ledge because I'm like, well, how did they know they were wasting him? The Vision Darcy thing was all right. It was just, but it was just fine. That's all it was fine. I'm giving it a 2 because it didn't blow me away. Nothing happened. And I'm like, oh, we're in the dungeon at the end. I thought that
was awesome.
Yeah. And a lot of people do. I just don't care as much about it as like other people. Like I want Captain Marvel, punching Thanos in the face. Like I'm a cosmic guy. I want Galactus to show up. You
can't be mad at magical characters for being magical characters. Like you can't look at a magical character and be like, and you can't be like, why aren't you cosmic?
Yes, exactly. No, here's the thing though. This whole series has been a giant surprise because I thought I don't like the Scarlet Witch. I thought I would hate it from point A to point B.
Right now, it sounds like you hate this entire TV show based off of everything that I'm hearing.
I dislike this show almost as much as Steven dislikes Elizabeth Olsen. Like almost.
Okay.
But I gave it a 2 this week, and I didn't want to, but like I just couldn't come up with something better. It
hate that I came up with a reason.
Now watching it with you guys tonight, I would 3 or 4. But I rate it on like when I watch it, because that's how this show is not meant. When you click on Disney Plus, it doesn't say must watch 3 times like I do. When I watched it once and it was over, I'm like, huh. Cutscene meant nothing to me. Quicksilver's like, there's just so many characters that I'm not intrigued in. But still, they did some good stuff. I thought the kids did a good job. I thought the twins did a really nice job. Vision looks great. I thought they wasted Darcy. I thought they went to just classic, cat, just whatever. Maybe that pays off. Maybe
I feel like this episode was just too far, like too much, like too spread thin. Like they tried to go.
There you go.
They touched in too many camps in this episode, and
I
really feel like if they would have added another episode in between this one and the next one, they probably could have did a better job. If
I don't think they added any
5 minutes on each.
I don't think they added depth to any character except for the intro of Agatha, which was super cool. The little
and Monica, the origin story.
Yeah, but okay. So, but to us though, we've known that since minute 1 that's who it was going to be. So if we didn't know that would probably change my mind. But we knew, like when she started walking through, we're like, yeah, we know what's going to happen.
We knew the same thing about Agnes though. We knew that was Agatha Harkness.
Yeah, so I said it took away from. I meant the intro video was just cool.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and Catherine Hahn's probably a better actress. Like I'm just like if we're being honest here, like she's probably a better actress.
I like them both equally, Jeff.
I do not. But I like Monica Rambeau like way more than I do Agatha Harkness. Anyway, real quick, we've talked about everything. Quick predictions for episode 8. Steven, you go first.
Ooh, all right. Man. There's going to be great witches. There's going to be a witch battle. I want that audio. I just want that audio.
Well, you'll have it.
I want it so bad. But anyway, we're going to have a witch fight.
Great.
I'm really witches.
I hope they have rooms.
They eat kids and all that stuff. No, but I think that Dottie is going to come in this next episode.
Oh, I need more Dottie. I miss Dottie.
I miss Dottie too. It was just weird how they were like, all right, you guys didn't see her in 2 episodes. Here's a little sprinkle of Dottie. Yeah. All right. So I think that there's going to be more than just Agnes, whether that be Mephisto being brought in. Could we get the Salem 7 coming in? Like, could some of these other women that were shown in episode 2 or 3 great witches?
Great.
Could we get that?
I hope there's more witches.
Yeah. If you couldn't tell, Jeff loves his witches. But anyway, Yeah, I think that there's going to be characters thrown in more. We'll get more Tyler Hayward. Obviously, we're going to see more about Operation Cataract, which is a great name for an anti-vision thing. If the name Cataract alone doesn't make you think that Hayward is up to something bad, I don't know what does, Jeff. Because a cataract,
I don't think it's opposite vision. I am sticking like a Hayward. I'm telling you,
a cataract is not good for your vision. I'm just saying.
Exactly. It's literally a disease for you
That
on
causes you to go
your
blind.
vision.
You lose your vision.
Like it'd be different if it was like codename Contacts or codename 2020.
Or pupil.
Like, no, we're talking about something that is a disease of the eye that ruins your vision and makes you go blind.
I don't know what you guys think about the show, but I love my vision. I don't want to lose my vision.
I'm on Team Hayward. I'm sticking to it.
You were a Team Edward guy, weren't you?
So I'll give my predictions real quick. I think everything that Steven doesn't want to happen is going to happen. I think this is going to boil down to a silly witch fight, a lot of throwing different colored stuff. I think Monica's going to I think Monica's is waiting for something bigger, like a movie coming along, like probably the next Captain Marvel, or her own movie. I think she's going to be more a damsel in distress in the next one. Maybe
come on.
I really do. I think she's going to be like captive, like can't get out of magic. Like, yeah, that's what they do with these overpowered characters. They're like, oh, you're stuck, and then they're like, oh, I'm stuck because it's magic.
Great.
I'm stuck now. Great. I'm stuck now. Can't do anything. Like, I think all that's going to happen. I think it's leaning super heavy into the magic. I don't think we're getting the Mephisto reveal that we thought we were getting.
It's going to be the last episode. Can I give a prediction for the end of the last episode?
No. Yes. Okay. Of course you can.
I think that at the end of the show, we're going to get introduced to Mephisto, and that's going to set up the multiverse of mayhem with Doctor Strange and WandaVision, and it's going to introduce Brother Voodoo and Grim Reaper.
They'll never give us all those good things.
Oh, they will. They will. And Nightmare.
You've given way too much credit. I would love to get Nightmare, by the way.
Multiverses. They can show all of them in each multiverse.
Yeah, they can, but we in episode 3, we thought by now we'd see about 10 different more characters, and it's actually dwindling down.
They're saving that for a movie.
We've got twins. Like, we've got twins that can barely act. That's what we've got instead of Mephisto. We don't have Spider-Man. We don't have Mysterio. No. Like, we don't even have Aunt May. I will take, like, Aunt May at this point.
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei's version, obviously. So, anyway. So, Rob, episode 8 predictions.
It's going to be 55 minutes of witches fighting.
Great.
And then the last 5 minutes or the cutscene is going to be nothing but running backs. Just for you, Jeff. Witches and running backs.
Well, for those who come here for comic book talks, we do sports podcasting, and a running back is a position on the football field that predominantly has the ball handed off to them. And
they're the exact same thing as witches. They're given too much power and no production. That is the funniest thing that's happened on my podcast in a year. Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome.
Great running backs.
All jokes aside, I want episode 8 to be extremely great, but I would not be surprised if it's another quote unquote filler episode.
It's like we're starting to get desperate. It really does.
Not just so much. Not that they're desperate. I guess I just
look at high expectations.
So here's.
Doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you were expecting nothing to happen this next episode.
I'm trying.
I stand
to describe. So the first 5 episodes have pretty much been, you start at the beginning and it goes up, and then might drop a little, and then episode's over. The last 2 have been pretty stagnant. A little jump here, maybe something here, but really nothing too crazy. And I wouldn't be surprised if episode 8 was more of the same. Maybe the first, because they're supposed to be an hour-long episodes now. The last 2, never too much power to the running backs. Running back is the most important position on the football field. I don't care
and
what
witches are the most important characters in the MCU.
Yes.
All right, now y'all just try.
The 2 best actresses in the MCU are now witches.
Boom! Look at that.
But
they're the Derrick Henrys of the
exactly. The show goes nowhere without the witches.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Literally,
Derek
we thought
Henry.
one witch was in control.
Acting.
No, psych, the other witch is in control. It's like a running back by committee. But two really solid witches, two really solid running backs, and it's driving.
They're like Chubb and
Hunt.
And Hunt, yes,
Yeah,
Chubb and Hunt, yeah.
And Vision is like Baker
And I'm
Mayfield.
afraid that's how they're going to finish.
Do not say that about Vision.
The best character outside of the
Hayward is Mayfield.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
He's Myles Garrett.
I think Agatha's Myles Garrett. Anyway, we went down a slippery slope.
Right, we did.
Yeah.
I think
Worlds collided.
the first, if the shows are an hour, I think that probably the first 35-40 minutes are going to be very stagnant, very slow. It's going to be a slow burn.
Building a giant laser.
And then something's going to pop off at the very end, the last 15-20 minutes.
Do you think we'll see, or like next week, like if we don't see a cameo, or will you guys be disappointed? Because I will be hugely disappointed.
I won't be.
If we get the
cameo, like how big of a cameo are you willing to accept?
It can be a character.
Could it be Nick Fury? Would you be happy?
What's that?
Would you be happy with Nick Fury?
Oh, absolutely not.
I would be stoked to see
Samuel Jackson. Like I think we could get Samuel Jackson on the show. That dude will do anything.
I mean, yeah.
But if the only reason I wouldn't be happy if it was Nick Fury is because we know Nick Fury is in the MCU. We've seen him a million times. We know he's behind the scenes. I need
something big.
We need something. I won't be completely disappointed.
I need something from Fox. I need something from Fox.
Right. I wouldn't be completely disappointed if there's not somebody, maybe just a reference to somebody, a solid reference, not this whole speculate who is it going to be Reed Richards. No speculation. Is a solid, either a face, a phone call. Maybe Monica gets a phone call and it says Stretch. That's the name.
I'll take that. I really would.
I would like to see something, but I think episode 9 will have. I think the last episode is going to have more than one cameo.
Oh, dude, it's gonna set up Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Mayhem. Like a huge character is gonna be dropped in that episode. The next episode, I don't know. I think we're gonna see Hayward. We might get a cameo of who Hayward's working with that next episode. I think that would be cool. If I get Co-Commander Grinch in this next episode, I'll be stoked.
That's what. But okay, so there we need like. All these ancillary characters, we need one of them to show up. We need one of the big boys to show up. We need an X-Men to show up. We need Charles Xavier to show up.
Whoa, you you can't go from like no one to now all of a sudden the head of the mutant showing up.
Xavier the goat.
Shout out to you, Rob, for your Red Ranger shirt. I just noticed.
That's dope, right? That's real. I'm really jealous of that shirt. I'm not like my kid was more into Power Rangers. We were kind of caught in between, but I still respect. I still respect.
Grew up on Power Rangers.
Yeah, he was a Megazord guy.
Who wasn't, dude? Those are so dope.
Well,
but anyway, I think that we could get
really creepy
Grinch in this episode. I think that
Steven wants him so bad. I hope it happens for you.
I want him because it's the build up
to for you. Yeah, I just need Galactus.
This is way too much. Like
if the last second of this show is just Galactus looking back at the camera, I'm in because we need Secret Wars.
They pan out from Earth and you just see like Earth fading and fading.
I'm in. I mean, it's worth the whole series.
That's basically how we were introduced to Thanos. Ultron failed, and then the end credit was him getting the gauntlet, saying, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
But we've been foreshadowing Thanos for a while. Like we haven't foreshadowed like anyone like for just Galactus to show up.
Yeah, that would be wild.
Yeah, that seems a bit much.
I know what you mean, though. You're just
Galactus is a bit early.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I think Fantastic Four is too early.
I just need somebody from the Fox universe.
What if it's I don't know. So another character that's in X-Men and
anybody but Cyclops
is Beast.
Dude, I'll take Beast.
Beast would be dope.
That would be super dope, and he fits into. I thought Beast might be who Monica was going to see.
I didn't think that,
might be Beast, but I will take Beast. That's my dude. I'm good with that. Yeah, I will be absolutely satisfied. No, it'll be good. It'll be good. Yeah. We'll be here next week, and I'll be like, remember
Great
witches.
That's gonna be the title of episode 8. Great witches.
It's done. I hope it's done, but it's done. It'd be great.
They won't show a single witch in that.
More Travis Henry.
So,
yeah. We should throw Adrian Peterson. Remember that time Adrian Peterson went to the playoffs? Nope, nobody does.
You said Travis Henry, by the way.
Oh my gosh, Travis Henry. Remember him? I remember Travis Henry. You know what? It's not a sports show. It's there. Anyway, that's it, everybody. This was a great show. This was a fun show. We took a 25-minute average television show and turned it into a kick-ass podcast for y'all, and I'm really happy about it. I think we made this show better than they made it. I think it was I think we did our part. So real quick, Rob from Football and Chill, what you got coming up, man? I know you got some big news coming up.
I do. March 3rd, premiere of my new show, Cruise Island. If you don't follow me on Twitter, please go follow me. I dropped the intro. I think it is dope.
Super dope intro.
It's so cool.
I worked on it for
like the island from last episode's commercial. Just saying. So
yeah, it was. Yes. It's literally just a small island enough for one person because right now Cruise Island is just population of 1, but it'll grow. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got that debuting March 3rd. It's gonna be most Wednesdays. I'm gonna try to do it. I am in the Navy, and sometimes we got duty days, and I can't come home. But most Wednesdays. It will be on. I'm super excited. Definitely going to have each of you on there at some point. Yeah, definitely excited to get that going.
All right, man. Good for you. That's awesome. Steven, what you got coming up this week, man? I know you just had a big interview last week. That was cool.
Had Ronnie Brewer on last week. Austin and I just recorded our 50th episode together.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much. That was out on Dash Radio tonight. If you want to catch us on Dash Radio, we're on every Monday and Friday on the Dash Radio app on the Nothing But Net channel. That's NOTHIN, no G at the end. And we're on every Monday and Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Love for y'all to go check that out. You can go look us up anywhere podcasts are available. It's called Breaking the Game. And you can just download us there. Rating, review, 5 stars is
absolutely. Give both these guys, everybody give these guys a 5-star review. I don't care I know a lot of my Jeff Needs Help listeners and friends and fans aren't sports fans. Doesn't matter. You know the deal.
Yeah, it makes a world of difference. It really does.
Love it, and we appreciate it.
And I'll have another article coming up soon. Tomorrow, actually, the NBA reveals the rest of their all-star rosters for the coaches and stuff. So that'll be out. And I'll make a all snub team, which there's enough people to adequately make one and have a legit case of being an all-star this year. The NBA is really deep. But other than that, just please go check out offtheballnetwork.com where you can get all of your sports.
Yeah, you can find all of us crazy people. It's amazing how much we know. Yeah. You guys know me. Jeff Needs Sports. Jeff Needs Help is what this is on. We love doing this every week. The listeners, the feedback. It's really developed kind of a neat following. I've had some great interaction with the fans and stuff, and your thoughts and everything on the show. And we like doing this. We love turning this little show into this big show. And we appreciate everybody. I appreciate Rob and Steven for coming on. Hopefully we can do another watch party next Monday night. This is a lot of fun. And that's it. Be kind to each other. Have a good week. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on next week's WandaVision, and we will see you then. Thanks, guys.
Don't be racist.
Don't be racist.
Absolutely.